Hello and welcome to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday, two playoff games, like it has been recently. We had two good picks here. Islanders won Boston on the road with a great odds, 185 plus. Game was reasonably even, but Islanders converted their chances better than Boston, and end result 4-5 for a road team gave them 3-2 lead in this series, and they have a chance to clinch it in next game at home Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. And then Winnipeg-Montreal. Montreal swept Winnipeg in 4 games, and they won this one after overtime 3-2. So 2-2 after regulation, 4 goals and clearly under 5.5 goals. Tommy, this went as we predicted.
Yeah, nice to see green again in there, and nice value in both of these picks. Boston, New York Islanders, maybe not exactly a sort of game that we were expecting it to be, except for the winner. 4-5 the end result. Not many believed it to be such a high-scoring game. Islanders used their chances with an extreme percentage, so they managed to score from a couple of chances they created. Boston was a little bit better in the third period, but they were already down 2-5 in that time, so they got, I think, almost 20 shots on goal in the third period. Before that, it was a lot more even game. Islanders was not as much better as the score indicated, but now they got their conversion rate was excellent, and also maybe not the best game from Boston defensively. Also Tuukkaras not the best start for this game. Can't fault him though. He's played a great playoff run, so something Boston needs to take home from this game. Be a little bit tighter in defense and try to score from your chances you get. Now Islanders played a brilliant road game in a way that they turned over or caused turnovers, got control of the puck when they needed, and were able to play exactly the way that Islanders plays the best. So Boston never got their 4 lines running. It was more of a one-line team this time around, and that's the result then in the end. But who says that they predicted 9 goals in this game, I think is lying. So not exactly a typical game from these two teams, but a great pick from us. Islanders deserve their win, and it will be a tough one, the next one in New York. And then the other game, of course, a surprise for us that Montreal is now in top 4 of NHL. We never would have predicted that. Winnipeg Jets had really nothing going on in this series, so it was a quite an expected result after all. In the overtime, Montreal took this game. They led in shots, they led in control of the puck, they led in all categories in this game. But Connor Hellebuyck kept Jets in the play. Their rookie defenseman, a fringe guy, Logan Stanley, scored 2 goals. But if you need to do that and you're not still winning the game, something's wrong. So where were the top guys of Winnipeg Jets? Where were the leading guys from the defense? Nowhere to be seen in this series. So it was a bad series altogether from Winnipeg, but a great pick from us again. We did predict that it's going to be this type of a game, that Jets are going into the defensive mode, trying to grind out the win that they desperately needed. Couldn't do that. Montreal took the spoils, and deservedly so. So hats off to that team, and shame on the machine not predicting Canadians doing better. But let's keep watching how it's going to go against either Colorado or Vegas, maybe a little bit better teams than Winnipeg, but Montreal did beat Toronto as well, so everything is possible in the world of ice hockey.
Yeah, Montreal has grown quite a bit since being, let's say, sliding or free-falling in regular season, maybe even out of the playoffs, but then the poor performance of Calgary in crucial games saved them, and they were able to clinch the final spot in playoffs, and now they are division winners in Scotia North Division, and it's a bit surprising, if we put it mildly, that they are really top 4 in NHL.
Yeah, better believe it though.
Boston, New York Islanders, will play in tomorrow, Islanders have chance to clinch it, and they have a very good chance actually, because they have traditionally very strong home team. They won all of the home games during regular season. They split so far this series at home, and as Boston is now relying 98% of their performance to the top team, Barry Trotz can match his lines against the Boston top line and maybe shut it down and proceed to the top 4 together with Montreal.
Yeah, that would be another surprise there, but I do think Boston will learn from their mistakes in this last game that they lost now at home. They played pretty good on the road as well, even if they lost the second game. They managed to win the first one overtime. Boston Bruins, I do think that they are still a bit better team than Islanders, but playing in that old barn will definitely even the score a little bit in there. But I think we're going to see a Game 7. Boston will grind out a victory from this and then all open again in Boston.
Let's see how that goes. But first we have 2 games tonight. Maybe the top teams of the NHL are playing. Colorado hosts Vegas in Game 5. They have lost now last 2 on the road, coming back to home where they won first 2 once first with a spectacular fashion, and then Colorado has been slowed down by stingy Vegas, and let's see how it goes now. But there is a good value, even though odds are not great, but simulation thinks this would be easy win for Colorado. Maybe not so easy, but we also pick them to win at home and taking 3-2 lead in this series. And then Tampa is leading 3-1 against Carolina. They have a chance to clinch it on the road, but simulation show some value for Carolina, not great, and Tampa is actually the favorite in this game, but with odds 114 plus, Carolina is value bet here in this 5th game of the series.
Yeah, nice value again for both of these picks. Let's see about the Carolina first. The last game they played, it was this sort of open offensive game, especially in the second period. They scored 10 goals in that game. Tampa Bay, the better team in the end, when they started playing the way that Carolina allowed them to play. So very open, a lot of scoring. This time around, I do think Carolina will be a little bit more defensive, will be a lot more aggressive and physical in a way that they try to get their win and prolong this series. They are still not as good a team as Tampa Bay Lightning is, as we've seen along this series. Tampa Bay has managed to take these narrow victories, first 2 games, 1-2 score. I do think that now going back to Carolina, it's going to be a similar sort of affair. Very close game expected in the simulations, a little bit more than 47% going Carolina's way. So not a lot of value, but still a little bit there. Going down 4-1 wouldn't look very good. So I think Carolina, as they are now playing on the edge, they will put all in, and this is the only thing is to win now. So there is no matter how it's going to be done or what happens after, just win this game and then everything is open again. So I do think Tampa Bay a little bit better team, but how the situation is now, Carolina a better bet tonight. And going to Colorado, this is probably our favorite picks of this series, is going with the home team. Like we saw, Vegas matched Colorado perfectly in Vegas. Colorado early on beat Vegas. That was probably their team was a bit tired in the first game. They took maybe some liberties not defending so well, so Colorado used that to their advantage. It's not gonna be that sort of game again, but Colorado still 66% favorites in this simulation. So I do think Colorado now has learned their lesson again from these 2 games in Vegas. They managed to keep the puck a little bit more. They managed to tire out this defense of Vegas and score the goals where they need it. So let's say 3-2 kind of game expected, not 7-1 by any means.
Yeah, I think these 2 are very, very good teams, good series ongoing, and a lot of fun expected from these at least 2 games that are ahead of us. Colorado maybe being a bit surprised by the pace that Vegas has provided. They have outshot Colorado in their last 3 games quite clearly, and even though they didn't have too many chances in games 2 and 3, then fourth one they had more chances and they score more goals.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes in the long run, but these playoff series are always so short that even if you outshoot your opponent, you're not necessarily winning enough games. So let's see how this goes. Like you mentioned, Vegas probably surprised Colorado a little bit by their pace, by their sort of 60 minutes pressure. In soccer, you would say 90-minute pressure, but this is 60 minutes. So they didn't allow any space for Colorado. But this is very tiring way of playing. And now when Colorado gets to play at home, they have the advantage of matching the lines. They have the advantage of playing the guys they want in the offensive end, face-offs, all these kind of things play into the hands of a little bit more pacey, maybe a little bit more skilled team, while Vegas is this sort of a playoff juggernaut kind of a team that might suffer a little bit from this situation. So that's why Colorado is quite a clear favorite in the simulations.
And Colorado shouldn't have too many injuries either, so they are pretty good position to play here. And Vegas will have few guys off the roster again, like they've had recently. So Colorado should be able to run with their full orchestra in their high-octane offense.
Yeah, the roster's always changing or not changing. You don't know anything before the puck drops because of the secrecy of the playoffs. So let's see in the end who will dress up for this game for Vegas.
But most probably we'll know who are the goalies this time. Marc-Andre Fleury has played pretty well. Mr. Lehner is injured, and same thing for Colorado. Grubauer has been the man, even though it was not his best night in previous game, but these guys are ready to bounce back.
Yeah, definitely. These guys are top keepers of the league, and they will start for sure.
Let's see how these games go tonight, and we'll be back with further predictions and analyses tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.